Yes, good morning, dear students. Welcome for the physics class. Today we are going to discuss some more concepts in the motion plane chapter. So, among those, I am going to consider the first one as a multiplication of a vector by a real number. Okay. Multiplication of a vector by a real number. Okay, right. So it shows, so when a vector is multiplied by any real number, then what will happen to its original magnitude and what will happen to its original direction. So first I will consider the multiplication of a vector by a positive number. If we multiply any vector by any positive number, then what is going to happen to its magnitude and what will be its direction. And in the next case, I am going to consider the case of multiplication of a vector by any negative number. If we multiply any vector with a negative number, then what is going to happen to its magnitude and direction? Come, let us see those cases. Okay, the first one, multiplication of a vector by a positive number. Okay, so the first case, when a vector A, I am going to consider our reference vector or initial vector as a vector A. Okay, when this vector A is multiplied with positive number, I consider lambda as a positive number lambda, then what about its magnitude? Okay, so whenever a vector is multiplied by the positive number, then its magnitude will be multiple of that positive number, and its direction remains as it is as that of the original direction. I hope you understand. Okay, so when I multiply this vector A with any positive number lambda, then our upcoming product will be lambda into vector A. Okay, then its magnitude will be lambda times of vector A. I hope you understand. Okay, so here whenever I multiply vector A with any real number, any positive number, then its magnitude will be lambda times of vector A. That is, the product will be written as vector lambda into A. Then what about its direction? However, here we are multiplying that vector with a positive number. Here plus or positive indicates the direction of a vector. If we have multiplied a vector with any positive number, then its magnitude only varies. Its magnitude will be the positive number which I have taken to multiply that many times of the initial vector, so that I have written here lambda into A. Is it clear? But its direction won't change because we have multiplied with the positive number. Positive means as it is, its direction will be same as that of the direction of initial vector A. Okay, and direction and its direction will be same as that of vector A. Is it clear? As that of vector A. Next, are multiplying the vector with a negative number, any negative number, then what happens? So look here, whenever we multiply a vector with a negative number, then its magnitude, obviously its magnitude will be that many times which number we have multiplied, that many times of initial vector. But what about its direction? So here we have considered a negative number. Negative means that indicates the direction. So then, in this case, the direction of the resultant vector, the direction of the product which we have got from multiplying a vector and a negative number, will be opposite to the direction of initial vector. Will be opposite to the direction of initial vector. So let me consider the second case. So when a vector A is multiplied with negative number. So again I consider the negative number as a lambda, right? So lambda itself I am going to consider as a negative number. So don't ask me where you have written a minus symbol, sir. Okay? So I didn't written any minus symbol because lambda itself I have taken as a negative number. Its value will be negative value. So here lambda value is a positive value. Here the lambda value is a negative value. Right? When a vector A is multiplied with a negative number lambda, then its magnitude will be lambda times of vector A, but its direction is opposite to that of vector A, or opposite to that of initial vector. I am going to write initial vector A. Right? So here, if we have the direction of vector, initial direction vector is from left to right, right? So when I multiply this vector with a positive number, the resultant direction is also from left to right only. But only thing is magnitude increases as many times that of the positive number which I have considered for multiplication. But here, in this case, if the direction of the initial vector is from left to right, after multiplying it with a negative number, its direction is going to be opposite for the initial vector, and the magnitude will be increases as many times as I have considered the multiplying number. Is it clear? Okay. So this is about multiplication of a vector by a real number. It may be positive number or it may be negative number. With respect to the sign of the number, the direction of resultant vector or the upcoming vector, the final vector, will vary. Okay. Next concept is addition of a vector. So here we need to study it by graphical method. Addition of a vector. So by using the graphical method. Okay. Here we are going to have the two laws for the addition of the vector. Which are those? Let us study. The first one is triangular law of vector addition, and the second one is parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay. So here addition of a vector. Addition of a vector. So first one is triangular law of vector addition. So look here, triangular of vector addition. What is going to represent? What is going to represent? So let me consider, according to this law, let me consider two vectors. So here the magnitude and the direction of the two vectors is represented by the two sides of the triangle. Okay, if the magnitude and the direction of two vectors is represented by two sides of a triangle in the same order, remember this point, in the same order, then the resultant vector of those two vectors will be represented by the third side. Resultant vector of those two vectors which we have considered as the sides of a triangle, as the two sides of a triangle in the same order. Okay, resultant of those two vectors will be represented by the third side, but in the opposite order. Okay, so before writing that statement, let me explain that with the help of a diagram. So look here, I am considering a vector A. Okay, so the line which I have taken here, that will be representing a vector A. Another vector, I will take it as vector B, that has another side of the triangle. Look here, this line is going to indicate the vector B, and this line is going to indicate the vector A. So here, these two vectors I have taken as the two sides of a triangle, right? In the same order. Same order means, look here. So it is the first vector whose head is here. From its head, second vector's tail will start. Okay? From the head of one vector, the tail of the second vector starts. That means, same order means, a head of one vector and a tail of another vector is going to coincide. As you can look here. Here vector B we are having its tail is here. Okay? And here we are having the head of the vector A. That means, head of A and the tail of B have the same point of intersection. So started at the same point. Head and tail of two vectors have coincide. That means they are in the same order. Is it clear? Now, if we consider these two as a side, then where is the third side? So as you can see, this is the third side of the triangle. So here, the third side of the triangle is going to represent the resultant vector of A and B. And here, the resultant vector, I will denote it as a vector R. Okay, but it should be having opposite order to these two. So same order means head of one and tail of another should coincide. Opposite means, as we are looking here, we are having the head of vector B, right? If this vector R is said to be in order, then this should be the tail of the vector R, and here should be the head of the vector R. Well, when it is to be in the same order, but it is in the opposite order. So if it is in the opposite order, so at this point we are having head of the resultant vector R. You are looking here. This is head of the vector B, and this is the head of resultant vector R. So here order is opposite. Order of the vector R, resultant vector R is opposite to that of order of A and B. Because look here, head of resultant and head of vector B are coincide. Okay? So here this is the statement of triangular of vector addition. Okay? So here vector A and B are two vectors represented represented by two sides of a triangle. Two sides of a triangle. Okay. Then vector R be the resultant vector of vector A and B, or resultant of vector A and B resultant of A and B represented by third side of the triangle. Third side of the triangle. Okay. It can be asked in the examination. Number of times it has been asked in your annual examination. So they'll ask like a state and explain triangular law of vector addition. State and explain triangular law of vector addition. For explanation part, you have to draw the diagram like this, and you have to write these 3 to 4 lines. The statement. So here, statement. That is, this law states that. This law states that when magnitude and direction of two vectors is represented by two sides of a triangle. Two sides of a triangle. Okay? In the same order. In the same order. Then resultant vector will be represented by the third side of triangle in the opposite order. Okay. So take a screenshot of this one and just copy it in your notes. So the second law is parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay. Okay. So this is the second law which we will use for the vector addition. Okay. So this law states that is the magnitude and direction of any two vectors. The magnitude and direction of any two vectors is represented by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. Magnitude and direction of any two vectors is represented by the two adjacent sides of parallelogram. Then the resultant vector of those two initial vectors is represented by the diagonal of that parallelogram starting from the origin. Starting from origin of two vectors, two initial vectors. How that is? Just look here. Here we are having the vector A. Understanding? It is the vector A, and one more vector I consider as a vector B. Those two should be represented by the two adjacent sides. Two adjacent sides of a parallelogram. That adjacent side means here I need to draw. I hope you are understanding. Look here. It is the adjacent side of the parallelogram. Two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. This is vector B I am going to consider. And here it is the angle made between vector A and vector B. Vector A and vector B. Okay? Then the resultant of these two vectors will be taken along the diagonal of these two parallels. These two sets of the parallels. So now, before drawing the diagonal, I'll just complete the structure of parallelogram. Okay? So that is like this. Look here. Okay? Now we completed the structure of parallelogram. As you are looking here. Right? So I'll name it as O, P, Q, and S. Okay? Then here the diagonal will be like this. And this diagonal will be a resultant of vector A and B. Okay? As you can look here, the direction of resultant vector will be in this direction, along the diagonal direction. And it has been started from the origin of the two vectors A and B. Right? So here you can write it is a resultant vector R. And I'll just consider the angle between the direction of resultant vector and vector A as a alpha. Is it clear? Okay. Now, first I'll write the statement of this one, and then I'll write the explanation. Okay. So they'll ask in your annual examination, state and explain the parallelogram law of factorization. So first you have to write the statement. And then diagram, and then the explanation. Then how to write its statement? This law states that when magnitude okay, so this law states that when magnitude and direction of two vectors are represented by the two adjacent sides of represented by the two adjacent sides of parallelogram, two adjacent sides of parallelogram, then the resultant vector, that is vector R is represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram. Diagonal of the parallelogram from origin of two initial vectors. Okay. So this is the statement. When two vectors A and B are represented by the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then the resultant vector of these two initial vectors will be represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram drawn from the origin of the two initial vectors. So this is different, and it is a very important one. The last is for 2 or 3 marks. State and explain the law of parallelogram of vector addition. Okay, then you have to write the statement first and the diagram, and next now explanation. Right? Explanation you can write here. So in the diagram or in the figure, vector A and B are two vectors represented by the adjacent sides of parallelogram. Two vectors, okay, represented by two adjacent sides of parallelogram, making an angle of theta with each other. Making an angle theta with each other. Making an angle theta with each other. Okay. Let R be the resultant of vector A and B. R be the resultant of vector A and B. Okay, which can be represented by the diagonal. Then how to find out the magnitude of the resultant vector? Only magnitude. I am not speaking about the direction. So, as already we have derived in a previous classes the derivation for the magnitude and direction of two vectors. So there we have got an expression, right? So magnitude of resultant vector R is given by, so look here, vector R is equal to under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. So this is the formula used to find out the magnitude of the resultant vector of the two vectors in a parallelogram law. Okay. Then what about the direction? Right. So here alpha is the angle between vector A and resultant vector R. Then it indicates angle between vector A and R, and it indicates direction of resultant vector. Okay. How? So just we have to consider tan alpha, which is equal to, already we have studied, B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. Right? That implies alpha is equal to tan inverse of B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. By using this expression, we can calculate the value of alpha. Okay? And here, by using this one, we can calculate the value of or the magnitude of resultant vector. So by calculating alpha, we can say how much angle the resultant has been bent towards vector A. How much angle it has been away from the vector A. From that, we can easily say the direction of resultant vector. I hope you understand. Okay. So now, just take a screenshot of all these things and write it in your notes. Okay. Just you take a screenshot.